should listen to them. Now you do know that you're not going to be speaking during the first segment,
Right.
but we want you to be able to hear it. Also, you want to make sure that you're speaking directly into the mic. So, yep.
Right there.
Yes. Actually, you may need to go actually a little bit. It's a little bit intrusive, but you may need to go a little bit further. Yep.
Then you want to close that, please?
Huh? What?
I can't stand you.
Chicago Jones, what's up, my dude? How you living, man? Oh, by the way, there's a fake account it's like we're Karen and Ernest and Karen, or Ernest, Karen, and so Chicago. I think I sent you a message. That's a fake account, but this is the real one. So, all right, here's your girl.
Is that flattery? I mean, should we be flattered by
That's
that?
what Janelle said. Janelle said, well, you guys are making it, but it's just a spam account. But
Oh, that's interesting.
fight the power, fight. You know us. We know you from No Food to Whole Foods. We know y'all to Nobu.
This is him. This is him.
What? Oh, yeah. The room too hot, so move from out the kitchen.
For bad living. Oh.
Ow.
Oh.
What you talking about? You are listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest here on KBLA Talk 1580. And this is, whenever you hear that theme song, it means that it's Saturday night. We feel all right.
Did you get paid last night?
I did not, but that's all right. There's money coming. But we always start our show out by shouting out at Miles Low Music for that dope intro, and we actually get to work with Miles Low tonight. So bam. How you been, Caleb?
I've been good. I just have a piece of news that I'd like to get into, and then we could jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Cool for you?
Yes, ma'am.
It's not committed to memory. But
Okay.
I think I can pronounce all the words.
Okay.
What do you think?
Sounds like a plan. Let's see.
Our KBLA Talk 1580 4th anniversary events are fast approaching, and seating at all 4 of our special events is getting tight. Have you registered?
I have not.
Have you guys listening registered at our KBLA1580.com website? If not, please, I encourage you to stop and do it right now so you don't get left behind. It's our 4th anniversary, and we want to celebrate it with you. And you get a car. Oh, that's not this place. Okay. Celebrate with you. If you are planning, Mr. Tavis, are you giving away cars? Oh, okay. If you are planning to join us for our 4th anniversary celebration and barbecue on the Juneteenth holiday, we're asking everyone to bring a food gift card of any amount for the victims of the Altadena fire. Grocery store chain or restaurant, we're grateful for whatever you bring to help the family still displaced by the wildfires. So please, again, go to our KBLA1580.com website right now and sign up for all the events. The events are going to be dope. So you guys need to sign up for all of them. But please don't be LA and sign up for them and then not go.
Right.
Please attend. Please attend. And all our anniversary events are free, but seating is limited, and you must register now. Thank you so much.
Bam. Look at K-Lou reading and just giving people the knowledge that they need.
It is a news station, my friend.
So, staying on the Juneteenth anniversary event,
yes.
It is always a good time. When we first got on, we came on board at the Juneteenth event, and it's a great community event, and
it's awesome.
we are doing an amazing job of programming. It has graduated from just the cookout to there's going to be a women's empowerment luncheon that Dominique is going to be hosting.
Right.
There is going to be the cookout as well.
Yes.
There's going to be a Tavis is going to be handling a symposium, so it's going to be
another climate symposium.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's a
and then he's partnering with the Honorable Mark Ridley Thomas in the Empowerment Congress.
Yeah, so
that's a great event.
It's going to be a great look. So definitely, as you said, go to KBLA 1580 and make sure that you guys register.
And let me get something out of the way because I know you really want to get to your Knicks. So today I was at an event. I'm not going to name the event, but it was a Women's Health Expo. I mean, I'm giving homage to the people who produced it. You know who you are. And I met this wonderful young lady named Yolanda Williams, and she has a hat company called Hats by Faith.
Oh, okay.
And I bought this hat today because...
Oh, wait. Something's happening here.
Oh,
please. Okay. She's about to break out the hat. Oh, that's fly.
Because,
hey, Lou.
You know, pimping. Look.
Pimp.
Look, it has a cigar holder. I left my cigar at home, though.
If you guys are watching on at Food for Thought with K and E, which is our Instagram handle, Karen just put on the hat, and when I tell you that this is a dope hat,
isn't it fly?
Okay, yes, please, and thank you.
For those of you who don't know, I sometimes smoke cigars, so I could just wear this. You know, it's a conversation piece, guys, and so just let me know what you think. I love it. I love it. Shout out to Yolanda. Again, Hats by Faith, and I'll give you her Insta after we talk about the Knicks and some other things.
Yeah, so you keep bringing the Knicks up, and
I was rooting for you guys.
I was rooting for us guys too, and so I don't know if Ray had a chance to mention it, but unfortunately, the New York Knickerbockers are done, and the Indiana Pacers are going to the finals.
Wah wah.
Wah wah. And look here, we did what we needed to do on the front half, which was win Game 3.
Mm-hmm.
We let Game 4 get away from us. Mm-hmm. We won Game 5 to keep it exciting. Mm-hmm. They just couldn't pull it out tonight, so I'm a little bit bummed about my New York Knickerbockers heading, or they'll be watching the game the same place, same way I will be on my TV.
That Jalen Brunson fellow, though, he's something special.
Jalen is he is a talented dude.
He's something special.
And what I love about him is that he just takes the team, puts them on the back, and said, let's ride. So it's a beautiful thing. And
I will say, the big fella, I'm not sure what happened when he fell today and was holding his knee. I think did he keep playing, or did they take him out? Carl Towns?
Carl Towns. I may have missed it.
Man,
I didn't see what happened there.
He showed up in this series like I haven't seen him play in a while.
Yeah, yeah, look, we're not the sports show, and
I'm sorry, I was getting carried away.
So I know Ray will talk about this next week or during the week, but I just want my Knicks to be able to make it over the hump, and I want them to get into the finals.
Same.
And so I'm old, right? So I'm having flashbacks of when Reggie Miller was doing the choke move against the Knicks, and he ended up scoring 6 points or 8 points in 30 seconds.
Something crazy.
It was, so once again, I as you like to say, I tip my hat to the Indiana Pacers, but I'm a little bit bummed that it's not that our season's coming to an end.
Yeah, I'm not sad. I mean, you guys did the darn thing. I really thought you were going to take them. I really did. I thought you were going to I thought you were going to OKC them.
I thought it was going to go 7. And whatever ended up happening then, I was okay with. Mm-hmm. But it's not the way the cards. You got to play the cards that you're dealt. So it is what it is.
Well, I'm really excited this evening. One of my new favorite people is in the building. Pew, pew, pew. You'll hear more about it when we come forward, but it's just so funny how we met, and I have a funny story about how she demonstrates or exudes, stellar customer service and all the things. When we come forward, you'll be able to hear from our special guest. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest on KBLA Talk 1580.
I feel like I have to leave the building.
No. Are you serious?
No, the party's about to start. No. I mean, it is professional.
We're experts. We're growing in it, so we may need a testimonial from you. May need a testimonial.
Wow. Did you just come up with all this?
Oh yeah, we hadn't planned that. And that a lot of times that's kind of how it runs. We're just Okay, let's figure it out.
We have a good chemistry,
I
and
would
we have
say
a good
so.
banter.
Whew.
Shireen, what's your last name?
Imani.
Imani is in
Imani.
faith.
Mm-hmm.
Imani.
Exactly.
All right, so it's about to be your show. Get ready. So the one good thing is that we will
Ask
we will
questions,
cue you up and
Yeah.
kind of let and it's
Yeah.
it's but
Yeah,
it's not about us.
Dive
It's
in
about
head
you.
first.
and it's going to go really fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
But you two are, wow.
Oh,
I mean, I'm like, should I just watch this? Like,
Are you blushing?
no,
amazing.
no. It's a false sense of that. What's that H word?
Humility?
That word.
He doesn't know humility.
I don't know.
No,
what that is.
you know what you two are doing here. This is, yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it in, and like I said, one, as Karen said, it will go quickly. We will cue you up, but for us, it's about talking about the restaurant, talking about even like when we talk about like, hey, how'd you get the second location? Like, we'll cue you up, but it's your show.
Okay.
She said, "Woo."
Okay.
And what's your official title? Partner?
Say it again.
Owner? Partner? Proprietor? What do we call you,
You
ma'am?
could say founder.
Chef? Founder.
Because I have a bunch of.
Can we say call you chef?
Yes.
You're like, yes, chef.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
And in this first segment, I want to be able to, we'll talk about, like, getting started. And yes, your family had restaurants and you've been in it for a while, but that you initially weren't starting in the restaurant business. And so we'll be like, what made you decide to go from working in a hospital to, and then it's all food all the time.
Yeah.
Look at Karen.
Yeah.
Well, so basically I owned a healthcare staffing agency. So I basically started, I had a business in New York that I ran.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for me it was just like, and I'll tell you about it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you find community?
Yeah, that's the answer. I mean, that's the question and the answer. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest on KBLA Talk 1580. I feel like we should be in a club. Like there should be people dancing around us and stuff. Well, rah rah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I just want you to know that our guest responded to her music cues in like 2.2 seconds.
Yeah, and look, usually I will pick the songs, but she made my job easy. Every song that we come back from break will be a song that she told us we had to play.
So introducing Shireen Imani of Cholita fame, both Venice and West Adams. And I just want to tell a quick story, but most of my friends say I'm not quick with my stories, but this is significant. I'm long-winded, I know. So you guys have heard me talk about how West Adams is expanding and growing and all the things, and how I grew up like not too far from that neighborhood, and I'm just so impressed. Like from Crenshaw to Fairfax, there's all these happenings and restaurants and bars and record stores and boutiques and all the things, and I really want the same thing to happen on Slauson, but I digress. And so I noticed the building, that something was being transformed, because I'm a member of the Gathering Spot, and I would, be pulling up to work, so to speak, and I kept seeing things happening, so I was like, oh my God, what's that going to be? What's that going to be? What's that going to be? And then you guys know me, when I saw bottles of liquor in the window, I was like, it's a bar. I'm so excited. And so basically I started meeting friends there, and people were going there for happy hour, and I was having like the best vegan nachos of my life, and then I tried the vegan tortilla soup, and it was amazeballs, and then the chips and salsa, and then the bad hombre, and then it just goes on and on and on and on and on. They have mezcal flights, tequila flights, all the jams. You guys know I'm honorary Blaxican, right? So that said, I started seeing this really friendly woman at the front, and I was like, she's friendly and warm and kind, but she has like this authority about her. I bet she's one of the owners. And so Shireen is the founder of Cholita, and she was telling Ernest earlier, really what brought us together is I was exercising my humility when I would talk to her, and she was complimenting me on my fit outs. And so it just made me feel good. So I was like, oh, I'll just come across the street every day and you could tell me how cute I am, and then I could go back to work.
Oh, really? That's your version of humility?
Yes, it's really good. And so basically, that's what we did, back and forth. And then I finally met her. And then the other story is one day I ordered some of the vegan tortilla soup to go and some chips and salsa. And I got home and I didn't have the chips and salsa. So I didn't text you. I emailed the restaurant, and the person answering was like, oh, I'll just put it in a car for you. I'll just Uber it to you. And I was like, girl, it's not that serious, but thank you so much. And I just felt in the email, I didn't know it was you per se. I suspected it was you, but I just felt like you really wanted me to be happy that evening. And I find that a lot of places don't go out of their way for that for customers. And so it was just very sweet, and then I just fell in love with her, and here we are, and she is on the guest.
You are
she is a guest
not
on the show.
You are definitely not quick.
I know, but it's significant. I'm talking about one of my new favorite people. Got to give her all the shine. Give her her flowers.
Give her her flowers while she's here.
Okay,
so,
now shut up.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Shireen and Monty. Pew, 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 pew.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm humbled. I'm so glad my compliments paid off. Now I get to be on this amazing show, which is just incredible, as I told you during the break.
Oh, so much.
Well, we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
But look, this show only exists because we get a chance to do what we love to do, and that's talk to people about restaurants and food in LA. Mm-hmm. And Cholita is definitely one of Karen's favorite spots, and it's one of my favorite spots. So when Karen said that you were our guest this evening, I said, yes, please, and thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and to chat with you, and it's so important that you guys shine, light on small businesses and restaurants.
We love it
in LA. So
Those
thank you.
Yeah, because that's important to us because we could highlight the chains, right? But the truth is, they have marketing budgets, they have brand recognition, they have name recognition. What matters to us is these small businesses are the heart of the communities that we are in. And Cholita originally started on the West Side, and you're now in West Adams. So it's, anything that we can do to give you guys your shine, we're here for it. So thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
I think the interesting thing is that Ernest has been to the Venice location. I have not. Have you been to West Adams?
I haven't been to the West
Adams.
Adams.
And it's so funny. So I've been to the West Adams one, and it's like becoming one of my cheers. And so really want to hear about all the accolades that Venice achieved. And then, as Ernest would say, how did you get to West Adams?
Well, let me just updrive it a little bit. So Cholita, there are 2 restaurants in LA. But tell us a little bit about your background. Have you always been in the restaurant world, or tell us a little bit about that?
So I grew up in restaurants.
Okay.
My parents were immigrants. My dad had started 2 different restaurant chains, and he opened probably throughout his career maybe 14 different restaurants that were 2 different chains. And in college, I was working as a hostess. Mm-hmm. I worked in the accounting department of a restaurant. I never thought that I would go back to a restaurant or open a restaurant. I had moved to New York City after college. I started a healthcare staffing business that was fantastic. Mm-hmm. It was wonderful connecting with people, being able to help them. And it's interesting because, I think that people always talk about, well, do what you love and do what you love. But rather, I think you can look at things like, well, who are you and what do you like? I think, I'm a person that really wants to provide a service for people, and that's where I feel good. And so whether it's finding someone jobs or creating a restaurant or a place for them to go, it's all the same to me. So it's this level of hospitality per se in businesses and being able to provide a good service for people. So that's what really grabbed me when I moved from New York to LA, is how do I find community? Because in New York, whether you want it or not, you're immediately a part of your community. You're immediately a part of your neighborhood. And you know, the guy at the bodega knows that you get a bacon, egg, and cheese on a roll, whether you...
Yes.
It's true.
You know, whether you like it or not. So
true.
people know you. And I think that that's what I was looking for when I moved to LA. And it's been so incredible, especially with the second opening of West Adams, being able to meet my guests and being able to create things together and getting to know everyone. So it's been very enriching in that way.
I did not think that's what you were going to say, because you guys are both from New York, and I love New York. I'm an LA native, and I thought you were going to say it was incredibly challenging to find community here for a host of reasons.
Which is why I opened a restaurant.
There you go. She was able to create and curate her own. I appreciate it.
And that's that, right?
Yeah.
If you create it, you know, people show up and they come and they want to know your story and you want to know their story, right?
Yes.
You were like, who's this friendly girl? And I said, well, who is this stylish woman? And so, you know, naturally there's this synergy. And I always say that I think people from LA and New Yorkers, we're the same culture, you know, we bond very easily. And so being in a neighborhood like West Adams, where there are so many people that come in that are born and raised LA, has been incredible for us.
Right. And that's just a great neighborhood. I think, what's the baseball movie, If You Build It, They Will Come? With Kevin Costner.
With Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams.
Yeah. I think what's interesting is, and I felt like I have believed this about you for a while now, is that, to your earlier point, you very much have a servant's heart. And so, like you said, you enjoy providing the service. And I'm a spiritual person, and I think that no matter what you believe in, I think that for me, God orders our steps in terms of our career and our journey. And so for you to have had that business, I mean, obviously you're entrepreneurial, right? But for you to have had that health staffing business, again, an entity of service, and now continuing that in terms of hospitality, I think it's a beautiful thing.
I think it's important, to your point, to pay attention to your intuition, right? I think all of us have things that are a nagging thing within us, right? A thing that we want to do or create or be a part of. And I think that we need to lean into that, right? And and that doesn't mean you have to let go of your jobs or your career, whatever, you know, however that shows up for you. Right? But that you lean into it and you kind of think about why, you know, I'm a spiritual person as well. So it's like, why do I feel this?
Right.
Yeah.
What is making me feel this? Why do I feel like I need to do this? Right? Because opening a restaurant doesn't make sense. It makes zero sense. I can assure you.
Understood.
So, but since you mentioned that, I would love to find out if you believe that opening a restaurant makes zero sense. But you listened to the calling. There was a calling within you that said, look, I need to be able to create this community. Talk to me about how that process ended up happening. You come to LA, and did you come to LA with the idea that you were going to open a restaurant, or you came here and then tell us what happened then?
No, I didn't actually. I came to LA and I'd always been 50-50 with going back and forth between LA and New York. Okay. And my New York friends that moved to LA said, Shireen, just make a choice already, you know? And
that sounds like LA folks.
Yeah. And I mean, I was old and I was too old to be, you know, going back and forth. And I said, okay, I'll choose LA. And one day a friend and I were driving by this building, and she had said, oh, this would make the cutest little restaurant and bar. And I said, yeah, it would make a really cute restaurant and bar. And we called the landlord, and he said, it's for sale, and it's $5 million. And I said, okay, well, we don't have $5 million. So if you do want to think about doing something in this space, let us know. And in about 6 months later, he called and said, hey, what's your idea? And we presented it, and he liked it, and you know, we just kept rolling with it. And it was already an existing restaurant. I thought, how hard can it be? you know. I think that's why God never reveals all of the plan. Right?
Yeah, He gives you just enough to get
to hook you.
Yeah.
And so, one thing that I would love to make sure that you said that you came up in restaurants, and what you didn't mention is that it was in Utah, and the restaurants that you were working in, that your parents were doing, were what kind of restaurants?
So my dad had started, actually, he was an engineer by trade.
Okay.
And he had started it was very snowy and cold in Utah, and he had started a rotisserie chicken business.
Oh, okay.
So he had created a huge rotisserie in a window that was like over wood fire. And then he started a series of Greek restaurants. So, they didn't speak English, so my brother and I were there every day, cashiering and after school and doing all of the things that you do when you are part of an immigrant household.
Right.
So,
and part of a family business.
Yes,
sure.
part of a family business.
Yes, for sure.
Now, so I think that a Greek restaurant and a rotisserie, maybe not the rotisserie, but it is. How did you guys find your market in Utah? Because that doesn't strike me as the kind of the food that they would be used to eating.
Well, the rotisserie restaurant was chicken and ribs, and so he built a glass window in front of the rotisserie. So when people would drive by, they'd say, "Oh, well, what is that?" And that's how they would stop by.
Nice.
So we were right by the IRS building, and so there was a little bit of traffic that would go through, and people would just kind of come in and stop and ask. And Greek food is kind of similar with kebabs and rice, and it's very fresh foods. But you're right in that it was difficult. Every day in a restaurant you start over. It doesn't go up, it goes around.
And then I love the food of it, but what I also love to be able to talk with all of our guests about is the business of it. And when you say that opening the restaurant doesn't make sense, the guy calls you 6 months later, says, "What's your plan?" How did you find, you talk about moving to LA and finding your community. How did you find your community on the west side when you opened the first Chulita?
Well, that was amazing in the sense that we're very much in a residential neighborhood. So it's very much like West Adams. You just get the locals. They come in, they see you. They walk to places and they say, "Who are you and what are you doing here?" And that's one of the great things about being where we are. Right? I think a lot of chain restaurants probably are not looking at those places, right? They might be looking at tourist places, or they might be looking at more popular places. And for us, it was a passion project. It was, how do I meet people? What do I want? What do I like to eat? Right? It wasn't something that, we're going to make so much money off of this thing. I mean, that wasn't our idea. Our idea was, who do we meet? How do we get to meet people?
That's interesting. Go ahead. No.
And and I think that, once, as Karen said, it's about the servant's heart. It's about, because had you gone into it with the approach of making all of this money, and we all want to make money, but had you gone into it with that approach, it probably would have had a different kind of feeling and outcome, rather than, hey, let's become part of this community, let's be part of this community and make it happen.
Yeah, of the community. And I think people can feel that, especially when they're walking by, or they're being like snoopers, or they're trying to get an idea of what this is about or why you are there, like you said. I think people feel it when you are it, right? And you are definitely it. So I really appreciate you, and I appreciate you achieving. Although your goal may have seemed selfish, it was unselfish as well. So it's great. When we come forward, we'll keep talking all things food with Shireen and Monty, the founder of Chulita. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest at KBLA Talk 1580.
Look at you, Hercules.
I mean, after what you...
And she doesn't feel well today.
After you two, I have to really... I know what I'm dealing with.
No, that was amazing. And
well, you two are amazing. You make it so easy.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, look, it is, for us, it's... We have had shows where there are no guests, and it's the two of us doing the banter. But when we have guests, it's about making sure that we highlight you and that we're able to highlight your business and everything that goes into it. So that matters to us. So there it is.
And I feel like you're preaching to the choir today, because for us, this is a passion project, but we also made an investment of our time, but also we love it so much that for us it really is about
get here
expanding,
every week,
packaging, monetizing all the things.
Saturday.
But it started as just like, oh, I get to hang out with my friend and have a drink and meet interesting people.
And it's amazing that you like stuck with it and grew it. And I mean, I don't know if we're alive here, but
we are.
You know, I'm like taking over this. I'm taking over this. I'm back in there. I'm producing my own music.
Take all
I'm
the
like,
credit.
forget about those 4 songs.
All the credit now. Take all the credit. You want more?
Yes, please. So, sorry, in the words of Kanye, I'm going to let you finish. When we come forward, one of the first things that we're going to do in the next segment is we want to make sure that people know how to find you. So, website, Instagram, anything that people need to know. The number to the west side, to the west side, Cholita is blah blah blah. The number to whatever you want to give out. That's the first thing that we'll be doing in this next segment, and then we're going to continue talking about how amazing you guys are.
Well, this is so fun. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know. I haven't
Well,
given
it
a gap.
It will not be the last. It will not be the last. Hey, Michelle Moorbell. Yeah, so we definitely want to do that, and then did you in your pre-conversation, is there anything in particular that we that you want to make sure that we hit? Like, we're doing X amount, we're doing this programming, or we're doing this, or we're doing anything in particular that we need to?
No, it's perfect. I love it. You guys did great. Thank you.
Okay, well, we'll keep on keeping on. We will keep on keeping on.
Love.
And what made you decide? Well, you know what, we'll ask you on air, but just so you know, I'm going to ask you, what made you decide, hey, we want to expand to a second location? Because we were talking about why you picked that place in particular, but I would love to be able to kind of unpack what was happening in the business world that made you decide to say, hey, we want another location. Because it's interesting, we've spoken to some chefs and some owners where we have said, are you opening another location? And in terms of not monetizing, in terms of spreading the costs out over, like, because it makes no sense, and to spread out the costs over 2 restaurants, and then you're, instead of just ordering food costs, or your food costs being for 1 restaurant, it is now over 2, and they've said, no, we're not doing that. So I definitely want to find out what was happening in the business of Cholita that made you decide to say, we want to open a second location, and run into Karen, and then run into me.
Just,
I mean.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy. This fast?
No, it shouldn't be.
No, not yet.
You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest here on KBLA Talk 1580. Okay, hey, live radio is what we do.
You're hilarious.
Karen, you want to tell everybody who our guest is, and we'll continue talking with her?
Yeah, well, we're going to let her tell us who she is, and let us know, as well as the listeners, where we can find you and Cholita.
You can find me at Cholita West Adams, but we also are at Cholita Venice off of Rose Avenue. I'm Shireen Amani, the founder of Cholita. We have, like I said, 2 locations, one on Rose Avenue in Venice, one in West Adams. You can follow us at Cholita Los Angeles, our Instagram, even though we're not super active, but there's some cute pictures on there.
There are some cute pictures, and I was a little bit bummed. I was like, with as dope as this restaurant is, why are you not doing a bunch more social?
I'm trying to do it all. I don't know. But also, when you start something, it's not, you get a lot of haters, and you want to be able to make sure that you're addressing the needs of your local community first, right? And you don't want people that are coming in that are, not, you just want the locals. You want your neighbors, and you want the people that walk by. This is a place for the locals. And you had asked me during the break, what made me think about a second location. Yep. And like I said, this was a passion project. It was something that came to me, and I was smart enough to know that if I was going to do it, I had to be organized about it, and I had to think about the 50 people that we employ that need a paycheck every 2 weeks and that I need to provide for, but that it was something that I wanted for myself. And so I was living in Venice. I liked the fact that we were off of Abbot Kinney. We were on a street that was, not super busy. My partners and I, we moved to West Adams. We all moved to the Mid-City area, and we thought, how cool. And the building found me years before that. And I thought to myself, this is just such a beautiful building, and it's such a cool street. And it's been awesome to be there. It's hard, right? Because it's, it's not developed. Yeah. Right? I mean, and my customers come in and say, we never thought we would be out here at Michelin rated restaurants on West Adams. Right. And so,
one of our favorite people is Chef Keith Corbin, and when we talk to him, whether it's separately or collectively, he always says that there's enough business on this street for everyone. He's like, if they're not going to Alta, they're going to Cholita. If they're not going to Cholita, they're going to Farmhouse Kitchen. If they're not going to Farmhouse Kitchen, they're going to Vicky's All Day. Like, there's so many choices, but people want choices. And so because the neighborhood is walkable, like, people can walk. Like, I've been telling my friends, like, we just need to get up one day at 10 a.m. and walk, start at Vicky's All Day or Tartine, have a coffee and a snack, and then make our way to every place, pace ourselves, have a snack here, listen to some music, go by Cholita and have a bad hombre, all the things that we want to do, and end up at Johnny's and just eat your drunkenness off.
And it's fun.
No,
and
so
and
cool.
Every restaurant's fantastic. And Chef Keith, I mean, when Alta opened, it was phenomenal. It is phenomenal. The bar is super cute. The hospitality there is wonderful. I mean, he was I have so much respect for him for coming in back when he did to open that restaurant.
Yes.
And now it's just, you can't have a bad place to eat. And, let me just say, there's parking. Let's just put that out there.
Well, the other thing that I think is benefits Cholita in that nook, so to speak, and not the whole block per se, is that what's the name of the hotel that's right there?
The Alsace.
Okay, so they're going to refer people to you, because I've seen people leave the building and walk down to Cholita. The Damn I Miss Paris guys are going to refer. You're going to refer.
We love each other.
The Gathering Spot tells people to go over to Cholita. I'm sure the Pilates people down the street and where you can make all the wines, and I was going to say disguise them as
the blending lab.
The blending lab. Like, I just feel like there's so much chatter among the business owners themselves, and you guys are so clear. I'm sure there's one among us, but you guys are so clear that, you support each other, that you tell your clients or your patrons about other places so they can mix it up. So I just think that's so great and admirable.
Hey, Shireen, so my question for you is, so you've told us about the business of finding both locations, both the Venice and then the Alta Adams location. My question for you is, as we dive into the food, as we dive into the cooking, do you have any say in terms of what is being presented on the menu, or is it just your executive chef? Talk to me a little bit about how the menu comes to life for Cholita.
I think too much say, if you ask my staff.
Well, you did build it for yourself.
I think they would like me to have less say, probably. probably stand to have less say. But, you know, we have a lot of people to please every day. You know, you're throwing a party with 0 invites every night. Then you don't know what, they're all your friends that you don't know, that you haven't met, that you're not sure what they like. And we try really, really hard to keep things simple and concise and give everybody a little bit of something that we think that they would like. But, you know, it's also 2 different worlds. You know, the way West Adams eats and the way Venice eats are 2 totally different worlds, right? And that's been very interesting for me, is that, you know, just because someone loves the fact that, for example, I do vegan churros, you know, in Venice, they don't like that concept in West Adams.
Interesting.
Right? And so there's this push-pull of what can I add, what can I take away, and it really is a community effort. I mean, I think I try to bring in a lot of my staff all the time to taste, to create, to think about things. You know, I was sick yesterday, and I texted my bar managers and said, hey, I know there's blackberry and your rosemary syrup. Why don't you make a sour that could be really good with mezcal, with blackberry and lemon? He's like, oh, that sounds amazing. Like, I said, did they like it? He said, yeah. I said, well, how many people did you ask? He said, Shireen, I asked.
He's like, I got this.
Trust me, I know you. I've asked everyone. Everyone likes it. Yeah.
So, quick question for you. So, it's something that's interesting.
That's
so, are you saying that there are 2 different menus, meaning that I will have a different experience at Cholita Venice than I will have at Cholita West Adams?
No, but you will see additions. Like, for example, we had cauliflower rice in Venice. That was our rice. Then we moved to West Adams, and people said, well, what is this? We want rice. So we created Mexican rice. So now we added that to both locations. So we like to keep things, you know, streamlined, but we do want to listen to the needs of West Adams.
Yeah, and look, well, the reason that I was asking whether it was 2 different experiences is because Karen has been to your Cholita West Adams. I haven't been there yet. And I have been to Cholita Venice, and she hasn't been there yet. So I was just wondering if, and for both of us to then have we love Cholita kind of experience, there's obviously something that transcends both of them. And I just was wondering if it was, if we were dealing with separate menus and different experiences, ultimately getting people to, we rock with Cholita. We like what they're doing.
Honestly, I think it's my staff. I think they just provide such an awesome environment for people, and they're such great people. And you can't, you know, I was a rogue lone entrepreneur for a long time, and it's been a challenge for me to try to understand that I have to create something every day with 20 people, and how do I do that? And I think that they all have such a strong sense of, I don't know what our childhood traumas are, but they're the same. You know, we all believe in really wanting to be there and taking pride in what we do. And I think it shows at both Cholitas. Like, when I go there and I listen to them speak to people and talk about my food, and when I work, I have to work. You know, I work in the kitchen, and I watch I have to work, and I see the way they put things together, and the way they won't let me cut corners if I'm tired at night. I'm like, oh, let's not clean that. And then they're like, we're gonna wipe, you know, we're doing this, we're doing that. And so it's been really, really amazing to have that. And I think that staying close in your business and showing people what you're doing and who you want to do it for goes a long way, because you guys deserve that experience. It's your time and your money, and you chose us. So it's important.
And I think when I was talking up the vegan nachos, like, I don't remember your face going, oh yeah, I gotta have that. So have you had them?
I have not had the vegan nachos.
Yeah, so you would probably be the guy that orders the vegan nachos and then puts chicken on it.
And I
have a friend who did that.
We've mentioned vegan a couple of times. Are you guys a vegan restaurant?
No, but you know, I was vegetarian. I turned vegetarian when I was 12. And basically from there, growing up in Utah, you'd get a turkey sandwich without the turkey, you know, and it was white bread and tomato and mayo. And so I always wanted to have really healthy vegetable forward options. And we have everything, but we just do have a lot of very whole foods, vegetables kind of approach to and whole foods in general to ourselves cooking.
I love that because and let me tell you this. The other thing that I love is the vegan tortilla soup. Why I love
that.
I love it so much. You know why I love it? Because when you get it to go, you put it in that glass container.
Yeah.
And it's just it's like I could take it to my friend's house and just drop it off. Like, it's so cool. Yeah. And then you just heat it yourself. But I love how it's packaged because most people would give you plastic.
Yeah, I try not to do any plastic. Everything we do is like compostable. Even the plastic tops are, I mean, come on, guys.
You're really
2025
doing this.
Yeah, let's do it right.
So when we come forward, we'll keep talking food. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm watching him. I'm watching you. I'm trying to watch him. Okay, so when you were breaking, he hadn't broken.
Right, but I'm looking at the clock, and the clock is an absolute.
I know, but I'm taking cues from him. If it was the other one, not so much.
Well, I mean, I'm going to say it. You know what we're all thinking. I'm the best guest here on the show since the last 2 years.
That part. Hashtag facts. Absolutely. This is what, 4? Mm-hmm. So I tell people. I'm assuming.
Oh, Michelle says great conversation. Thank you.
I'm assuming no.
Unless you remember what you had. I already said what I like. Yeah, so we could just talk through it.
Yeah. Sorry, we're talking formatics of the show. Normally this section would be a restaurant review, but we've been reviewing you.
You've been reviewing me.
Yeah.
We'll make it about your favorite things about the restaurant. I mean, you talked about that, I guess.
Oh yeah, well yeah, and like for what I definitely want to make sure that I'm going to say on air is one thing that you just said is that it's about your staff, and Karen and I firmly believe that often you guys as restaurateurs only hear about your staff if there's something wrong, and none of these restaurants that are surviving and thriving are doing it without your employees. And it's something, and like we make it a point that whether it's Somerville or whether it's Alta, wherever we go, where we're like, oh, just so you know, hey, we had a really good experience with Drina when she was at Joyce, or we had a really good experience with Quincy at Alta, or that matters.
Of course, it's everything.
And it is funny though, sometimes when I'm with Ernest or even when I'm by myself and I call a manager over, we kind of chuckle at this because people always think it's something bad.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I encourage my friends and colleagues to do the same thing. If we know very well how to complain, we need to start to compliment as well.
And that's because you guys have really entered the food world now. Yeah. Now you're like one of us, right? Because that's part of it, right? It's like everybody that comes from that place of hospitality does want to please. Mm-hmm. We do want to create these moments for people. Like, that's what we're doing. Like, I'm not going to, go in the middle of Rose Avenue and West Adams on something if I didn't care about who was there and what they were doing and what they were eating and what their life, it's like, it's a very personal thing. What we're doing is legacy. We don't want something that's like, oh, there's a reason why Chulitas made it for 6 years. Yeah. There's a reason why, we want to be in Adams for 15 yeers, and I think that it's important to do that for restaurants and let people know that because servers also don't have to be nice. Right. No one's making them. We know. We don't know what your experience is, we try to hire the best, but people could,
But in a way, I agree with most of that. I kind of do believe that servers do have to be nice, and
they do.
And what I mean by that is simply whatever's happening in your world, it should not come to us as consumers.
Totally.
It should not be something that we have to and it's kind of, and it's about being in service, like Karen was saying, like you don't want to go to a doctor and have your doctor having a shitty day and giving you like your blood tests are all through the roof. Like you kind of want that
Right.
bedside manner. So,
But that's what's hard though, is it's like once they get, we don't know that. They might not show us, the manager might not see it, and then they're coming up to you, right? Like, so we, it's not right, and it's not fair for you as a consumer to have to experience any of that, because you're right, it's your time.
But that's the other
You
thing
know?
we encourage our friends and colleagues to do, because they will complain to us because now we have
Well,
become
that's
the
now,
expert.
let's go into
And
my
it's
hot
like,
dish.
No,
'cause
you.
I'll tell ya.
Because-
save it. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's like,
Yeah.
you guys are having the experience that maybe I'm not having, and
Mhm.
you'll say it's because I know someone, and our friends are very groovy, so they can know someone too. But the point is, they want to hear from all of us, not just the people they're familiar with,
Right.
Because it helps you guys.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we, for us, and the reason that I want to have this conversation on air is we believe strongly, and like Karen said, there are many times where we'll be like, yeah, can we speak to a manager? And like you see this look of fear on their
Yeah,
face.
they get so scared. I
And
know.
we're like, no,
It's gonna
you're
be
good.
fine. Yeah.
Right. I know. It's so
Yeah.
random.
But it's just like even in my business and in Ernest's business, sometimes we have clients that might be disappointed. And so if you don't communicate to me as the client
Yeah.
what you're disappointed about, I can't do better.
Totally.
So when I interpret that when you don't give me feedback, oh, you don't want me to be better.
Right.
Now, I might be wrong, but that's how it feels.
Right.
So I think in business in general, if we really are supporting each other and we want each other to be their best selves,
Yeah.
you have to say
Yeah.
something. And it's all how you frame it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is it us? He looks like he's moving something. Yeah. Ernest is cracking me up today. I wish all of you guys could just, well, we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen where you guys will have eyes in the studio one day. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest on KBLA Talk 1580. Ernest,
Yeah.
you want to tell them how to find us?
Yes, I do. I also want to ask Miles a question at another point. So, Food for Thought, Karen and Ernest, and here's how you can find us. You can find us on Instagram. Our handle is at Food for Thought with KNE, everything spelled out. That is our handle on Instagram. It's our handle on Threads. It's where you'll be able to find us on TikTok. It is our X handle, Food for Thought with KNE. And it's important for us that you guys are, if you're listening, if you're a first-time listener or a long-time listener, please give us a follow, especially on Instagram, at Food for Thought with K&E. If you're one of those people that wants to shoot us an email, you can find us at foodforthought at foodforthoughtwithknd.com. And we've got a lot of we enjoy talking to you guys on Saturdays, and we want to make sure that we're interacting with you on in different times during the week. So Food for Thought with K&D is where you can find us on most major platforms.
Awesome sauce.
Awesome sauce. So our guest this evening is Shireen Imani, and she is the owner and proprietor of Cholita, both in West Adams and in Venice. And we've been talking about it's been 6 years now that you guys, I was telling Karen and I was telling you that I actually went to Cholita, Venice during the pandemics, or actually during Clubhouse days. Erica Grayson, a friend of mine, was like, oh, you have to go, and we were in Clubhouse rooms and so on and so forth. But it's been 6 years, and one of the things that you said before we came forward that I want to make sure that I talk to everybody on air about is the fact that it is about your staff. You highlighted your staff, and Karen and I have often said that we in terms of the hospitality, we only are, and we are consumers. We're in the food business, but we are consumers. But it is we often will say, hey, can we speak to a manager? And there's this look of fear that shows up on their face. But we are very strong proponents of being able to say, no, your staff is amazing. We told Chef Keith, when we had him on, your staff is great, and they didn't know us from Adam, but regardless, they are amazing. So we feel that it is important to highlight the staff, and the fact that you said that the staff is the reason for your success. We just want to jump on board and shout them out and say congratulations.
I want to shout them out too. Thank
That's
you.
awesome. Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, I like the way Ernest said that. They didn't know us from Adam. I was going to say they didn't know us from Adams.
At West Adams.
Thank you, everyone.
Tip your waiters.
But literally, this is kind of how Ernest and I choose where we hang out. And I'm an only child, so I've been moving about the cabin freely for a long time by myself. And so that's how I choose my cheers, where I feel comfortable, where I know I can come in and say hi to you and sit at the bar, and you're going to make sure I'm good. You might not wait on me personally because you are the founder. Not saying you're above anything, because I know you're scrubbing things and doing things because that's what a founder does. But you're going to make sure from afar that I'm taken care of, because your head is also on a swivel and you probably have this really keen peripheral vision, right?
Yeah.
I know, always doing too much, but that's why Cholita is Cholita. And so I love, to Ernest's point, where the staff is great, because then I don't have to bother him and say, please come meet me here, when I know he's doing something else. Or any of my other friends, I can just go. I can sidle up to the bar. I usually know a bartender by name or whatever, and I can just chill or work or catch up on Instagram, or, like I said, say hi, check in on you, or whatever it is. And that's how I get to move. And so I move in I clowned somebody years ago about moving in a 5-mile radius, and now I'm moving in like a 3-mile radius. That's what happens when you get older and you don't know what's happening. But seriously, the staff is key, and the staff is important.
Yes, but to your point, I started Cholita with I'm single and 38 at the time, and where do I go? Where can I go and sit somewhere by myself where I don't have to pay $50-$60? Someone's going to know me, or I'm going to have a friend somewhere, or I'm going to meet someone.
I love that
and
so much
that's,
that you did that.
So you're me. We're the same person of who likes Cholita.
Right.
And it's grown from there, and it's taken on all of these things that I didn't think that it would. But really the heart of it was like, how do I meet someone? My friends in LA were married. They had children, and that was wonderful, and it's awesome. And I love them, and I love hanging out with them. But what do I do, right? And I'm, not online like that.
Right.
So I don't know, it was just, I would like a place to go where it's just easy. And I still feel comfortable there.
Yes.
I go out, but I still like being back at Cholita. I still love being around my servers, my managers, my bartenders.
Like family. Yeah.
They're just awesome people.
So tell me you're no longer single. Okay, we got
my
damn,
Facebook status
Gina.
is complicated.
It's complicated.
Then we might have to wing women for each other. We'll figure it out. Or we'll drag Ernest along and be like, pimp us out, Ernest. By the way, a pimp is a positive individual making power moves. It's not a bad word.
Okay, that part.
Oh.
And so you mentioned, you both have mentioned something that I think that it is important that we take a second to highlight. Karen has referred to places that she enjoys going to as her chairs, and you said that you created Cholita to be able to be like, hey, I'm single, and this is kind of a place where I'm able to have people come and congregate and to build my community. I think that is what. So, like I said, we went to Cholita and the we that I'm talking about is my friend Tatiana.
Oh, Tatiana.
Tatiana.
Sorry,
and we went during the pandemic, and it very much felt like chairs. It very much felt like the place that if you go often enough, people would be like, Norm, or I can see them going, Karen, kind of,
Ernest,
and
or Skinner.
E. Skinner. But you have done an amazing job of building that, and I just want to acknowledge that, because that is the feeling that I got, and it's something that Karen has said about Cholita West Adams. So just wanted to take a second and give you your Hercules.
Thank you. I mean, it's natural though.
Yeah.
I want to meet you. How would I have ever met you if I didn't have a place to have us meet? How could I ever do this, which is so fun, and watching you two just kill it here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so incredible, and it's the experiences and the community and that creation that is enriching for all of us.
And that's what this station is about. This station is about community. So this whole conversation we're having is full circle. When we come forward, you'll be listening to us still about food, and we'll be sharing our hot dishes. You're listening to Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest on KBLA Talk 1580. Oh, there's no hot dish. It's 9 o'clock. I thought it was 4. I thought it was the 4th segment.
I thought so too.
I know we have to be out by 9, but I stopped looking. I even reprimanded him because I'm looking at you. And you had a question. What was your question?
My question.
I'm like, no, 9 o'clock.
But we only have 4 segments.
Y'all don't do 4 segments?
We did 4 segments. We didn't do 5.
I thought you guys do 4 segments total. I thought you guys. Okay, my bad. I thought you guys do the combine the breaks thing that we.
Yeah. I was told.
Oh, but we didn't get cued on that. Normally, Kamala cue us if he combines.
Okay, I combined that was the norm for you. So I'm fine.
She just has to do. Well, we don't get to get your hot dish. Sorry.
It's okay.
But she'll be on again.
We need to do.
Switch
her
me to
reads,
another
though.
channel.
Right. You said you what?
Put me on 1560.
She has to do the 2 reads.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, do it.
So, hey guys, thanks for watching. And it's been amazing. Say hi to them. So that's Shireen. That's Karen. I'm Ernest. It's Food for Thought with Karen and Ernest. Thanks for. Oh, you guys didn't tell me I have schmutz on my face.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't see it either. It's food.
We'll see you guys soon. All right, bye guys.